Vardaan 1. The Ultimate Boon. Written by Mr. Deepak Sadia. Chapter 2. Not a young man but a great soul. Bad times had passed. Often people call difficult times bad. Unknowingly they do not know that what they are calling bad times is difficult times indeed. Difficult times come in our lives and make our lives better in every sense. If we call that time bad, then it goes by showing only bad things. As Chandra and his family saw only bad things on that occasion, no one thought what that time was trying to explain to them. Well, the bad times had passed. A few months passed when strange thoughts engulfed the mind of young Acharya Chandra. Now everything was calm and orderly. Neither any unwanted thought came to his mind, nor did he try to bring any such thought to his mind. But the reality was completely different. Where everything seemed calm on the surface, the sadness was increasing with each moment inside. The person to whose conscience was feeling all that was still unaware of that. A few more months passed. One day Chandra was coming back home from the palace. He heard a noise while passing through the street. At the end of the second street, he saw a group of children. That was not just one group. That group had been divided into two factions, which were not unanimous on a specific subject. When the fierce debate between the two factions was at its peak, just then Chandra arrived there. He felt like listening, so he stopped there and listened to the kids. His only interest was to listen to them, but when he realized that civilized debate could turn into an uncivilized fight at any moment, he reached for them with fast steps. The fame of Chandra was no exception even among children. So as momentarily as they saw him, everyone calmed down and each of them bowed to him. He blessed them all with a smile. Chandra asked them the point of debate. Each one gave the information as per their point of view while giving him full respect. After listening to everyone, he smiled and guided them based on his knowledge. He kept his words so polite that no one's ego was hurt. The young Acharya did not teach anyone, yet he brought them out of the darkness of conservatism and brought them into the light of facts with simple explanations. Please do not listen to me. You are all intelligent, so test the authenticity of my words based on your understanding. If you think it is right, then accept it, and otherwise forget it as a waste. With these words, Chandra humbly concluded his address. What do you think? Everyone asked each other with a gesture, which Chandra sensed. Friends, God has given each of you an individual mind. So it is better that you ask yourself what is right and what is false. Young Acharya gave the last advice and immediately left. Coming across the street, he looked back and found everyone was thinking on his own. Now there was no dispute between them. Everyone was testing his very personal mind. That thing gave pleasure to young Acharya. He came out from the street smiling. Chandra went home smiling. After reaching home, he washed his feet and went to his room smiling. As momentarily as Chandra realized that he had been smiling continuously for a long time, he was shocked. He had an apprehension that proved to be true the very next moment. After some time, when the mother entered the room with a pot of water, she found the son wet from head to toe. Chandra was sitting in fear in a corner. With the help of his hands, he was holding his head, as if he was blocking the thoughts to come. History was repeating itself. Questions of why and what was quickly raging in his mind. I am happy today. This is the same happiness that I felt a few months back. After that, I never felt the same happiness. What does it mean? Was I sad for the last few months? I am the biggest fool who was unaware of my sadness. What am I saying? No, I was happy yesterday also, and I am happy even today. Then why does today's happiness seem real and other happiness seems fake? As if earlier happiness was just a pretense, and today's happiness is genuine. Yes, I am happy from my soul today. Kishu. Hearing the words of Shakuntala Devi, Chandra's dynamic maze of thoughts stopped for a moment. Putara, what happened? Why are you sitting like this? What are you thinking, in this sweat? Oh no, it's the same situation as last time, that means. Kishu, answer Putara. Shakuntala Devi shook him and his consciousness returned. Matashiri, mother, I think that phantom again me. Shakuntala understood what had happened to her son on hearing the word phantom. Very frightened, that gentle lady immediately stood up and took Chandra to the worship room with great care. By making him sit in front of the idol of God, she gave him inviting water and also sprinkled it on him. Beli Rama had left this water for such dire circumstances. Chandra got some benefits after drinking water and listening to his mother's mantra by keeping his head in his mother's lap, but that relief was only for a short time. After a while, he was again in the grip of the same questions. Helpless Shakuntala Devi came out and passed a message to the neighboring children in the name of Beli Rama. The children were very surprised to hear the worried mother, because a little while ago the young Acharya had come to stop their fight. What had happened all of a sudden after a while? Beli Rama was in the other village. He was informing his yajman about the holy items which were required for a specific yagya. Seeing the neighbor's children running towards him, the words in Beli Rama's mouth were stuck with the imagination of some apprehension. The children gave the message of Shakuntala Devi to Beli Rama and proved his fear to be true. Apologizing to the yajman, he stood up from his seat and sent his colleague to call Pandit Sugrivananda. Beli Rama ran home immediately. Pandit Sugrivananda was considered skilled in removing ghost obstacles and driving away the demons and phantoms. A phantom had managed to pierce the security cover of the Sampurna Suraksha Yagya, therefore this time Beli Rama did not think of that yagya again. Shakuntala Devi said that there was no benefit from the inviting water, so after returning home, the hands of Beli Rama stopped moving toward the inviting water. Shakuntala Devi also chanted mantras that failed to give results too. So now Beli Rama could not do that either. He stood helpless. Beli Rama's tension was increasing, while Shakuntala Devi was crying continuously. Chandra was also seeing and feeling the condition of both. He was cursing himself, but the irony of the actuality was that he was the most helpless in the house at that time. 3 hours full of tension passed with great difficulty. Only then Pandit Sugrivananda came to Beli Rama's home. He started his ritual without losing a single moment. The ritual lasted 2 hours. Night came, but there was no improvement in the condition of the young Acharya. Sugrivananda contemplation for some time in the name of rest, and after getting new material started another ritual. Even after a few hours, he failed to provide relief to his young yajman. Pandit Ji is a word that symbolizes respect. It seems to be a very powerful demon. Don't get me wrong, but there is no other option than to perform a specific ritual from the soil of the crematorium. Sugrivananda hesitantly gave his opinion as advice. There was clear hesitation in Sugrivananda's gesture, but he was quite serious and concerned about the kid. Stunned Beli Rama understood everything. Say something, Sugrivananda said, as he was asking permission for the infamous cremation grounds rituals. Crematorium soil, no. These words came out of Beli Rama's mouth at that very moment. He looked very scared. Pandit Sugrivananda expected a similar answer. Please do not be afraid, listen to me calmly. Pandit Ji, I know that you consider the cremation ground rituals to be wrong. Your thinking is also correct to some extent, because some people use cremation grounds for sinful deeds. Yet it is the ultimate truth that God Bole Shankar is called the Lord of the cremation ground. Is Rudra another name for Bole Shankar a devil? No, not at all. He puts the ashes of the pyre on his body. And don't forget Pandit Ji, who am I? I am your friend Sugrivananda, not an evil tantric, a different kind of pundit. We have been friends for so many years, why do you think I am indulging in wrongdoing? Pandit Sugravananda asked while explaining to the frightened father. I am sorry, Panditji, I didn't mean that. I know you very well. I have a lot of respect for you. I have no doubts about your actions and intentions, but the crematorium. But there is no time. Panditji, just standing behind the wall of your ideals, do not ignore your sinless and helpless only Putara. I have tried all my strength, and you know very well that if I cannot do it, no one else can do it. The frightening fact is that I too have this last resort. Crematorium soil is my last hope. Pandit Sugravananda said, while throwing light on the instant situation. Considering the gravity of the situation for a long time, Beli Rama, a firm believer in principles, finally abandoned his principles for the sake of his only son. At midnight, Sugravananda went to the cremation ground. He lit up a tiny homemade lamp made of normal clay soil. After worshipping Lord Shiva, he dug the cremation ground. Only then he did borrow crematorium soil from Lord Shiva to treat an innocent kid. A new ritual was performed in the courtyard using additional materials. This ritual went on till morning and failed miserably to give the desired results. Sugravananda was in great shock. After apologizing and taking a lot of embarrassment, the famous Panditji fled from there. Like Pandit Sugravananda, Beli Rama was not one to give up. He devoted all his strength to saving his only child. 29 Pandits, Vaidyas, doctors, Ojas, another type of Pandit, and astrologers came in the next 140 days. 72 types of worship, rituals and remedies were tried with different types of items, medicines, gems and metals. The helpless father lost half his property, but nothing came to his hand. By now Krishna Chandra had become as emotionless as a rock. Shakuntala Devi's tears dried up, and finally, Beli Rama, who had tried every possible thing, also gave up. With 3 people taking breaths, the house still seemed deserted. In such a situation, a monk came to this wilderness asking for alms. Surrounded by their sorrows, the 3 had forgotten civil manners. Monk was shocked by this behavior. Monk found that the people of that limestone's puka house seemed like stone themselves. Just to wake them up, the monk wailed loudly. Beli Rama apologized to the monk for his unintentionally inappropriate behavior. The monk smiled and asked about his condition. Just then neighbors came to his house. Beli Rama narrated the whole situation. Remembering his lord, the monk asked for the child's horoscope. Beli Rama gave the horoscope with no hope, as he had already shown his child's horoscope to all reputed astrologers of his state. The monk checked the horoscope for some time. Shakuntala Devi gave refreshments to the monk, but the monk's attention was only on the horoscope. Amazing, to the surprise that I can see this, the monk said. Everyone along with the neighbors was confused because the monk expressed himself in a quite dramatic manner. Each one was sad for a young child, but the monk seemed very happy. This situation is clearly described in the child's horoscope. I do not know the name of this strange position of the stars, because it is a very unusual position. Even great astrologers would not know it. This is the reason why no one didn't tell you about it. Monk said, smiling. You mean everyone had noticed it? Beli Rama asked, while trying to understand the matter again. Yes, it must be visible to everyone, because it is so obvious, Monk replied innocently. If so, why didn't anyone tell me? Beli Rama angrily asked. Seeing his anger, the monk laughed. It is quite obvious, no exceptions. It is very difficult to understand and then interpret correctly. Instead of difficult, I would say impossible. Even then there would be no exaggeration. That's why no one would have told. In fact, in this world, no one is stupid who will admit in front of you that he cannot explain this situation of stars. It will be like you are defaming yourself. This is the difference between monks and civilians. We are beyond honor, disgrace, and fame, failure, but the common man is engrossed in these. Even though a monk is worldly, he is not worldly. Monk clarified everything to Beli Rama. Sadhu Maharaj, monk, excuse me, but this is not true. Everyone doesn't need to know everything. For not knowing any subject, an apology can be made under courtesy. By doing so, one is not called ignorant but called civilized. Just look at me. I am also a very reputed pundit. Yet I do not know several things. Many holy rituals are far away from my knowledge. I openly say that I do not know them. Beli Rama told his truth without hesitation. Wonderful, you seem like a pure monk. Panditji, before I describe the situation, please check whether you also see what I am seeing or not. Monk requested. Beli Rama took the horoscope and checked his son's horoscope for the first time himself, then found the monk's statement to be true. As I said earlier, I do not know the name of this wonderful position of the planets, but I do know what is its explanation. I heard about it for the first and last time when I was in my Gurukul school as a child. Gurudev, teacher himself, told us about it. That day we saw our Gurudev for the last time. This condition was manifested in the horoscope of our Gurudev. The monk said, as he was trying to prepare the family for a shock. Everyone's curiosity became strong. This wonderful position of the planets makes it clear to us that any creature who has this position in his horoscope will achieve the greatest goal of his life, and we all know that the greatest goal of mankind is Vaikuntha Dhamma, home of Indian god Vishnu. Every soul wants to attain it. The monk interpreted the situation of stars. While the words greatest goal had given happiness to all, everyone was frightened after hearing about the abode of Vaikuntha. For a moment, even Krishna Chandra was shaken. But then he focused his attention on the words of the monk. To put it simply, either your putara will take renunciation or he will die. The monk told the difficult thing in simple words. The monk, according to his monk instinct, easily told such a bitter truth with great impunity. The monk had forgotten that words like renunciation and death are very scary for the common man. While Punditain, wife of Pundit, started to babble, Krishna Chandra also became emotional. He had never imagined this result of his own. Unlike mother and son, Beli Rama became a live stone. Punditain, why do you cry in vain? You should be proud of your womb after listening to the whole story of this monk. The monk tried to console her in his style, and touched the land by seeing Krishna Chandra as he expressed his gratitude towards him. Seeing Beli Rama in a stone-like condition, Krishna Chandra took care of her mother. There are only two ways to reach Vaikuntha Dhamma, ultimate death or ultimate renunciation. After ultimate death, the human never dies again and directly merges at the feet of Shri Hari Vishnu. Saying so, the monk stood up. The monk went towards the crying mother. Ultimate renunciation is the last renunciation of a soul who is born as a human being on this earth. Just as a creature dies many times before ultimate death, in the same way, a human being takes renunciation many times before ultimate renunciation. After true renunciation for many births, one rarely attains ultimate renunciation. Ultimate death means the soul reaches the Vaikuntha Dhamma directly, and in the ultimate renunciation, the soul goes to the Vaikuntha Dhamma after the death that came after the age of renunciation. The monk completed the interpretation while looking at the poor mother. The monk sat in front of Shakuntala Devi with folded hands. Your putara has attained that state, which is the only wish of many people like me, who have been begging for this state from many births. You know that you have given birth to a super soul. He is becoming great with each birth. This is his last birth as he turns the supreme among ordinary souls like us. So great Mata. Please don't shed tears. You should be proud of your luck and womb. Everyone takes birth, and everyone dies, but neither every birth is neither special, nor every death is special. Your putara is special, so both his birth and his death are special. This great soul has blessed your womb. The monk expressed his feelings, and torched the feet of Shakuntala Devi with great respect. Then the monk went to father. Pundit ji, you should call one of the great scholars who will provide the knowledge of mythology and legends to this great child. In that beautiful environment, he will see his path. The monk requested Beli Rama, in such a manner as he was the father of Krishna Chandra. He went away after worshipping Krishna Chandra's feet. The monks went on singing hymns. The monk's voice was heard going away. Slowly his voice stopped being heard in the atmosphere. But still the family and neighbors were silent. Neither one said anything nor did anyone move from their place. Possibly it was the strangest first moment in everyone's life, which no one had ever practiced. After a while, Krishna Chandra gathered his consciousness and controlled his emotions too. He gathered courage and looked at the parents. Krishna Chandra was shocked to see that there was no love and concern in the eyes of the parents. There was only respect for Krishna Chandra in their eyes. For them he was no longer their child but was a great soul. The great soul himself had no idea what to do or what not to do. This was also the moment when the booming river of questions flowing continuously in Krishna Chandra's mind stopped. He was completely thoughtless at that time. But in front of the direct problem, he did not pay attention to the indirect problem. Krishna Chandra was feeling helpless again. He failed to give an appropriate answer to his genuine question of what should I do now? So Krishna Chandra thought it would be more appropriate to remain silent.